Okay, so y'all are getting a different perspective today because we're going to be cooking on the stove, so we don't have the same setup as normal. And Harold's going to help me. He's going to be the cameraman while I make gravy. So we're going to make regular brown sausage gravy, but it's not really like the sausage gravy you would order at Cracker Barrel because it's so much better. And we're going to make red-eye gravy. So we'll get over to the stove, and you would need to already have a pound of breakfast sausage cooked. So have that and then reserve some of the grease. So we'll see you at the stove. Okay, so I've got about maybe a little bit more than 2 tablespoons of the grease reserved from the sausage, and you want all those crispy bits that are in the pan. I've got this cooking on about medium heat, but it's on a gas stove, so it's going to be a little bit hotter than a regular stove. I've got 1/4 cup of self-rising flour, and I'm going to just put that in there with some salt and pepper. And you can just make it as, I do like a lot of salt in mine. Kind of going to go easy on it for the video. But salt and pepper just to taste, whatever amount you would like. And we're going to kind of cook that flour. And most people do use the plain flour and gravy. I don't know why I like self-rising, I think, but just because it cooks a whole lot faster. So I'm going to cook that just so that that gravy doesn't taste like it's got raw flour in it, because you can tell a difference when you've not completely cooked the flour. So it does get just a little bit of a paste, thick paste texture to it. Okay, now we're going to start adding milk. You can use whole milk. I'm using 2% milk because it's what I had. I wouldn't go any thinner. Do not use skim milk because I don't think it's going to turn out the same. Whole milk is really the best. And I don't usually cook it on the stove like this. I normally cook it in an electric skillet. So this is going to be just a little bit different. Okay, but see how it's starting to kind of thicken up now? Once that happens, and it's going to keep doing this, so we're going to keep adding milk a little at a time and let it thicken until we get the amount of gravy we want. And it doesn't take long for it to thicken up. Once I get close to having the amount of gravy I want, I'm going to turn off the heat. But for right now, I'm going to leave it on medium. Okay, add a little bit more milk. I think the cameraman's arms are getting tired. We're almost done. So this is about the amount of gravy that I'm needing. So as soon as it starts to thicken up, because it's going to continue to thicken, so as soon as it starts to get about the consistency I want, I'm going to immediately take it off of the heat. We're almost there. I know whenever I was in middle school, I had this friend, my mom worked, she didn't have her own beauty shop then, so she worked at this shop with this lady we knew, and that lady lived across the street from the shop, and her daughter and I were friends. We had gone to school together all of our lives. But I would go to work with my mom on Saturday mornings, and then Susan, my friend, she would come over to the shop, and we would walk back over to her house, and we would cook breakfast. And I'm talking, we were in probably 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and we would cook homemade biscuits, sausage, scrambled eggs, grits, just anything. But I was just fascinated because Susan knew how to cook gravy. We all learned how to make biscuits in home ec, but Susan knew how to cook gravy. And so I was determined to learn, and I watched her and I learned how to make it. And then over the years, I just kind of learned from my mom how to do it and then adapted it to my own way. But that was such a treat as a teenager to learn how to make gravy. I don't know of many teenagers today that would know how to do this. And it's not difficult. Okay, so that's the consistency we want. I'm going to turn the heat off and take it off of the burner. And it's ready to pour in a bowl. Okay, so the country ham has been cooked. We put it in the pan without any liquid and cooked it until it's kind of caramelized on each side. And once it's done, we're going to add water to it, just a little bit. It's going to sizzle. And that's going to loosen up some of those bits that are in the pan. This is probably going to steam up my camera. So now we can take the meat out of the pan. We just kind of wanted to bring out more of the juices of the ham with the water. So I'm gonna put those over to the side. I've got Harold in here helping me. So those are not my hands in case you see them. And once the ham is out, you've still got water in there. We're gonna add coffee. You can do strong coffee or you can just do regular strength. Some people like it a little bit stronger. And okay, need some more. Keep going. And really it's just however much you like. That's probably about enough. You can add more. So I would say we probably put in what, maybe half a cup of coffee. I would put in a little bit more. Okay, that's good. And that's going to make a fairly decent amount just because you don't eat a lot of this. You just maybe take a tablespoon of it or a teaspoon of it and spoon it over eggs or grits. So it's not like a gravy that you would put on biscuits that you need a lot of. So that's how you make up your red-eye gravy, and then we're going to put it in that gravy boat right there and serve it up.